Hey, this is John Carlos, and I'm here with a look at the NECA action figure of the Joker from The Dark Knight. And I gotta say, the packaging here is pretty cool, with a little smile on this side, and some pretty snazzy, just little ha-ha-has written all over the back. I don't know, it's kind of cool packaging. It's been 8 years since The Dark Knight came out, and at this point, everyone's had their crack at making a Joker figure. I mean, Mattel's done it, Medicom, Square Enix, Hot Toys, NECA had their quarter-inch figure. So we've had quarter-inch figures, 6-scale figures, 5-inch and 10-inch. We've seen it all, but we haven't had is a NECA figure in 7-inch scale, and that's what we got here. And I like it. Taking a closer look at this, I'm very happy with how it turned out. I am a big fan of 6-inch, 7-inch scale figures, so having this in my hands and made by a company like NECA makes me really happy. I mean, just look at the detail in his outfit. Look at the sculpting of his coat, his jacket, and his vest, and just like the tie and the shirt there, and the texture of the collar of his shirt, and the wrinkling of his vest, and then the painting of those wrinkles is just fantastic. The texture of his pants there, the little pinstriping going on there, all the way down to his shoes, and I think his shoes look pretty good. Let's see if I can get in for a closer look there and just see the sculpt of the laces there. And then you get, as we go back up to the pants, you can see the inside of his coat. It has the red lining like it does in the film. It's kind of a reflective, almost coppery kind of paint on this, but it looks good. Also, he's got the little chain there, so that's a nice detail. Details, that's just like the main bullet point here for this. Just the wrinkling of the fabric of his coat. And the sleeves. And you can see the sort of dark paint that went over the wrinkling here on the sleeves. Really nice touch. You know, it's not just a perfect purple on the coat. There is some sort of dirtying, some darker colors being used right on the edge there. So, really great work. And speaking of like paint details, here's a closer look at his tie, which has a little dotting on it, the yellow dots. And then we get to his head, which, geez, I think for an action figure, this is a pretty good likeness. You know, some of the Mattel Movie Masters figures, I mean, their likenesses were just a joke. You go to something like Hot Toys expecting a great likeness, but something at this scale, it could go wrong, but I say this is a pretty good Heath Ledger Joker head. The paint for his eyes is great, especially his eyeballs kind of looking up, so you get the bottom, the whites underneath the iris there look really good. But the red paint on his mouth, great. The smile, great. The wrinkling at his right there on his brow, and just the white paint coming, I mean the skin coming through under the paint, so it's kind of like a tan paint right there for his forehead wrinkles. All this is really well done, but I think, man, that the wrinkling right there for his mouth, around his nose and lips is just freaking good. And you get to the rest of him with his hair. It's kind of dark brown with green paints in there and a little lighter yellow paints. Really great. Articulation on this, worth mentioning. That there's some good things and some bad things. I think the shoulders look great. Got good range of motion. It's not too stiff. Elbows are a little stiff, but you do get the hinge and the swivel. Ball jointed shoulder, but I like the swivel at the elbow. You get the just the swivel here at the wrist with no hinge. But there is a ball joint right within his stomach. So if you pivot right there at his waist, there is a ball joint. And you got the ball jointed legs. And then you've got the knees, which have the hinge and the swivel to them. So that's great. My only problem is the knee joints are really stiff, so I have to take a blow dryer to them because they're really tight. That's kind of annoying. And then you do get the swiveling ankles. Now this figure comes with 3 accessories, including this gun, which is the one he uses at the end of the chase with Batman on the Bat Pod. He also comes with this little pistol with the extended magazine. A little silver paint there on top, looks pretty good. And his knife, which is a very tiny accessory, but it's got that little gap in the middle there. So this is a great looking tiny little knife. I'm happy to report that the gun fits into his hand really well with a good separation between the index finger and the rest of the fingers on the hand, and the knife fits into his knife holding sculpted hand perfectly. When you line up all the joints in a perfectly straight manner, the figure does have a tendency to want to lean back a little bit. And since the figure's knees are locked forward and can't go any further, and they are pretty tight, you have to lean them forward at the torso or at the legs, either one of these 2 joints. But that's fine to try to balance him out, because in the film he does kind of hunch over and kind of lurch towards you a bit. So it actually is kind of appropriate to the character to have posture like that. I forgot to mention the head. He does have a ball-jointed head, which has a pretty good expressive range of motion, which really does suit the character. So again, this is a very fitting figure as far as what the articulation allows the poses to get into. It's a great sculpt. It's very well painted. He comes with some awesome screen-accurate accessories. I couldn't be happier with how this figure turned out. This is available at Toys R Us. It is part of a promotion, because, you know, originally you don't see NECA making 6-inch figures from Warner Brothers stuff, because Mattel's got the license to that sort of thing in that scale. But NECA made 1/4-inch scale figures, and now Warner Brothers is partnering with them to offer them at Toys R Us, because technically they're not just standalone figures, they're part of a promotion, and that's how we got around that. So you can go to like Toys R Us and buy Warner Brothers titles, and then this figure is $19.99 on its own, or if you buy a DVD, it's half off. So happy hunting for those in stores if they're still out there. They were available on the WB eBay store. Happy hunting. Thanks for watching.